Hey, my friends, happy Friday Eve day to everybody. We've got Facebook and my YouTube channel down here on my laptop. YouTubers, I want you to smash that subscribe button so you never miss one of my live weekly trainings. And I want to remind you guys, in case you missed it, because we've been doing something new the last couple of weeks, the first few minutes of first 10 to 15-ish, 20 minutes of this training is going to be information for you. And then we could do 10 to 15 minutes of live Q&A after. And you're going to want to ask your questions of Kim today. She is amazing. But if you've got questions for me about list growth, sales, marketing, mindset, networking, content help, you name it, I will get you an answer. And if you can't make it live, don't worry. We have a dedicated thread each week in my Facebook group for you to post your questions, and I'll answer those live for you, and then you can grab my answer on the replay when you have time. I can't think of a more fun way to do this. I'm so excited about the live Q&A portion of the trainings. Okay. Oh, and make your questions as clear and concise as possible, especially if you can't be on live with me, because I want to get you the best answer. And if you're not part of our free Facebook group, you totally should be. We have over 1,700 entrepreneurs just like you. Everybody is super helpful and supportive. You can promote your offers anytime, as long as you collaborate and help others when they need it. And you can get help live weekly from me on this live training. Ask me anything about your business. The Facebook group is Be a Confident Entrepreneur, Get Visible and Grow Your Income. Hop on over. Come on in. You're going to love it. And if you're coming to me through Facebook, you've got to go to StreamYard.com/Facebook. Go do that real quick. StreamYard.com/Facebook to give permission for Facebook to show your name to StreamYard, so that when you're asked questions in the comments, Kim and I can see your name. Otherwise, it just says Facebook user, and I have no idea who posted the question. So pop over there now, StreamYard.com/Facebook. And you only have to do this one time. Do it now, do it once, and you're set for any other StreamYard sessions that you go and watch, if anybody else's that has them going on. All right, today, you know I love to bring you a great guest expert. Today is going to be so much fun. Kim Thompson-Pinder is with us. She helps entrepreneurs like you and me become authors. You do not want to miss this interview today. We are going to talk about how can a book help me build my business. But first, in case we're new to each other, I want to introduce myself. I am Tracy Beavers. I am your business and sales coach, and I have over 20 years of experience in marketing, sales, and business growth. And I've helped hundreds of entrepreneurs just like you get visible, grow your email lists, and get the income that you want. I have private one-to-one coaching available, but I also have an outstanding 8-week group coaching program called Business Visibility Made Easy. It is the program for email list growth, and it's opening back up next week, April 13th to be exact. We limit each group to only 30 students, so don't delay. Get your spot. Come join our masterclass. TracyBeavers.com/masterclass, so that you can hear all about the program and you can learn a couple of things along the way. Yeah. The free masterclass is called How to Grow an Email List of Your Ideal Clients Without Paid Ads, and may I say, without creating a truckload of more free lead magnets. I'm going to teach you 4 simple strategies you can use that very same day to get your list growing. And I'm going to give you all the scoop about the Business Visibility Made Easy program. But first, let's go into this. I wanted to introduce my friend Kim to you. We connected when she had me on her podcast as a guest expert. And when I learned about her expertise, I was like, Kim, you've got to come talk to the members of my Facebook group. So Kim Thompson-Pinder, the extraordinary word ninja, chief visionary officer of RTI Publishing and host of the Author to Authority podcast, and author of the book by the same name. She is in the house with us today. Now listen, Kim's got a very interesting backstory. She did not write for 30 years after a teacher told her at age 7 that she was no good at writing and she needed to stop. Can you guys relate to that? Somebody in your past tells you something like that. You believe it, and it ends up stalling your growth and success. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So then she came to a crossroads. And thankfully for all of us, she chose to let those painful words go. And I'm so glad she did. And since she has decided to get past that, she has gone on to author 5 books, 5. 2 more on the way because, she's not busy enough. And more importantly, she started RTI Publishing and has helped over 200 entrepreneurs just like you and I become authors and authorities in their expertise and in their space. And she understands the power of words. And I am so excited for her to be here. The name of her podcast, again, if you missed that, is Author to Authority. It is outstanding. Wonderful, wonderful knowledge she shares on that. All right, so let's talk about how can a book help me build my business? First of all, my first question for you is, who should write a book? Tell us who this is for, who has any business writing a book at all?
So first of all, just a plug for Tracy. You've got to go listen to her episode. It was epic. It was wonderful.
Thank you.
We got off of that conversation and I'm like, okay, mind blown. So her episode is 323 on the Author to Authority podcast. Go listen to it because the knowledge she shares is golden. So I had to give you that plug because it was an amazing episode.
Thank you. That's really, really kind. I paid Kim to say that. She said it exactly how I wrote it up.
Oh, that was pretty good. When you are looking to write a book for your business, first of all, there's certain categories that just aren't going to do well with writing a book. Like if you have an e-commerce store, writing a book is for your business doesn't really make sense.
Right.
But if you're in a service-based industry, if you're in, business to business, if you're a speaker, if you're a consultant, a professional, even a coach, those categories of people do well having a book as one of the tools that they use to build a business. Now, the other thing is that, if you're just getting started and you're not clear on, who your perfect ideal client is, if you're not clear on your messaging, like if you don't have a good, strong USP, unique selling proposition, core marketing message,
right.
Whatever it is that you want to call it.
Right.
And if you don't really have your business persona down. So that's how you present yourself business-wise. So you notice when Tracy introduced me, she introduced me as the extraordinary word ninja. That's part of my business persona. She didn't tell you that I've been married for 32 years. She didn't tell you I had 2 adult children, that I am Nana to 2 of the most amazing grandchildren on the face of the earth.
So
she didn't tell you that I love to read, that I'm a musician, I love to go to church. She didn't mention any of those things to you because that's who I am personally. But you have to have a good, strong business persona in place so that it's kind of like your branding. You have to know who you are. You're the face of the business. So when you're writing your book, you have to have those things in place because otherwise your book is going to be ineffectual and you will have spent a lot of time and probably some money and you won't get any results from the book.
Right. No, yes, I agree with everything you've said. And this is something that I tell my clients all the time. They'll say, well, I want to create this amazing course and I want to do, all these things. And I'm thinking, you're putting the cart before the horse. You've got to get your messaging down, who you are, what you do, who you serve, how you serve them, get some proof of concept, things like that. And then you can look to do some of these bigger things like writing a book. But Kim, tell us, why do I need a book for my business? I think a lot of people say it's great to have, things like that. But I know you're going to get to the heart of the matter. Why do we need a book for our business?
Well, first of all, people have the misconception that you're making money from the sales of your book.
I have heard this.
And it's not true. Okay. It's not that you don't make any money from the sales of your book.
Right.
But if you're looking to get rich by writing and selling your book, and especially if it's your first book, if you have no audience, like if you have no one to buy the book,
right,
it's not going to happen.
Right.
Now, that doesn't mean it can't be a source of income in your business, but it's not going to make you rich.
So that is good, honest information, because
let's just get that off the table.
Yeah. Right? And I appreciate you being so honest about it, because so many people will be like, oh, it's a great moneymaker. And I have heard that it's not. So I'm really glad you said that.
it's a marketing tool. So first of all, you're only going to get out of it what you put into it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where it comes into play, and you see, this is the problem, because a book is not something that has a direct ROI. So you can't say that you put in so much money to writing, producing, and publishing your book, and you're going to get so much back, because a lot of the ROI you get is unquantifiable.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the biggest things is the perception of how people see you.
Yes.
There is a perception out there that if you are an author, you're a more credible expert than someone who is not.
Yes.
So if you've got a couple minutes, I'll share a very quick story with you.
Absolutely. We love a good story. Yes.
Okay. So a client of mine, she did this before she was my client. But I met her just shortly after she did this.
Mm-hmm.
She had got hepatitis as a child from a blood transfusion.
Wow.
They didn't realize she had hepatitis until she was adult, because people didn't really realize what hepatitis was. So she's quite a bit older. And at that time, they didn't even have a name for hepatitis C, so they named it non-AB hepatitis.
Interesting.
Yeah. So she had to learn to navigate and be able to live with hepatitis. And so she really worked on her lifestyle. She made a lot of lifestyle changes. She tried a lot of things. And she designed a lifestyle that allowed her to successfully live with hepatitis. So this was probably back 2013, 2014, maybe 2015, because I think I met her in 2016. So somewhere in that time. She just really wanted to help other people struggling with hepatitis C. So she decided to write a book.
Yeah.
Now, while she was writing the book, she just got so excited and telling everybody about this book.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she ended up getting on radio, television. She ended up speaking at the biggest hepatitis conference in Canada.
No way.
And doctors who wanted to get on that stage could not get on that stage because she could prove that she was writing the book about it.
Wow.
Okay. Now, let me qualify that, because I don't want you to get the impression that if you start writing a book, you're going to be on radio, television, and speak at huge conferences. Right. Can it happen?
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Will it just drop into your lap? 1,000,000 to 1?
Well, here's the thing. In that example, she's got something super specific that nobody else, like what she's talking about is like groundbreaking, revolutionary kind of things.
Yeah.
So for people like myself, business and sales coach, which you and I both know in the coaching world and the online world, there's really not much that's new or groundbreaking, except for things like AI. But, so for somebody like me to be on the Today Show after I write my first book is probably not going to happen. Yeah. But I do see where you're going with that. And I do see the power of that credibility that it can give you depending on your niche.
Yeah. But the big thing was that she got on the stage because she was writing the book and doctors had not. See, that was the differentiator, was the fact that she was an author, because, she's not a doctor.
Right.
She's not a hepatitis specialist. She's just someone who's lived with it and learned how to live with it. Now, I think too, I think it was one of those things where just the right people heard about it. And that can happen. We're not saying it can't, but don't count on it.
Right.
If that happens to you, well, you take that as an extreme blessing, and you put up your hallelujah, say thank you, right?
Right.
But the thing was that it's the credibility factor, and it's the perception that authors are more credible experts than people who are not.
Yeah.
Again, it's a perception.
It is.
But you might as well use the perception.
Right. Yeah. Tell us how we would use a book to grow the business. You'd mentioned that it's a marketing tool. Like, can you give us some specific ways that you have grown your business with your books and that your clients have as well?
So for me, it's sort of the top of the funnel. Books are really great to be the top. Like if you've got like an online funnel, books are really convert high in terms of people coming on, seeing your book, buying your book, especially if you use the pay for shipping, get the book free model.
Yes.
And in
I've
many
seen that.
cases, if you price it correctly and you work with the right companies. Now, I'm not going to name companies because people are all over the world. So
Right.
you'd have to research this. But there are fulfillment companies that will either print and ship your book, or if you print the book and ship it to them, they will ship it out. So many times you can price it so that you either break even, you either make a couple of dollars, or you lose a couple of dollars
Okay.
in that range, right?
Yeah.
So in that case, you're generating leads for relatively free.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the big ones. And books convert well if your book is well written, it's very targeted. When people land on that website to look at it and it solves a very specific problem,
Mm-hmm.
people will buy it.
Yeah.
More so than other lead magnets, because there's an intrinsic value in a book.
Mm-hmm.
So I've known people who every house they move to, they pack up every single book
Mm-hmm.
and they move every book they have. It is almost sacrilegious to throw out a book. I mean, have you ever thrown out a book?
It is really hard. The only time I've ever thrown out a book is when it was damaged. And even that hurt,
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Like,
I've got to give them away. I've either got to give them away or give them to the library or put them in our neighborhood, mini library thing no, you can't throw a book. Now the phone book, I can throw the phone book in the recycling bin. No problem.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
No problem.
Every year it's worn out its usefulness. But the thing is people keep books.
Yeah.
And you just never know when someone's going to look at that book on the bookshelf and it's going to be the right time. I mean, I had books that sat on my shelf 5-10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden one day I was looking at my bookshelf and it was the perfect book at the perfect time.
Right. Yeah. So it's just that constant, it's a solid piece of marketing that sort of has no expiration on it, really. Yeah.
Now, the other way you use books is very simple. If you don't have any online stuff going on, you print copies of that book and you mail it to people.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing. Whether we want to admit it or not, we all love getting stuff in the mail.
We kind of do, especially if it's not a bill.
Yeah.
Anything that's, even if it's, you're exactly right. Yep.
Right. Yep. So, and in today's world, everything is online. So when you take the time, now I'm not saying mail every Tom, Dick, and Harry a book. That gets expensive, right? But if you've got that targeted market and say, you're out on social media, you're talking to people, you're messaging people, there's nothing wrong with saying, and they're asking you a bunch of questions. You can say to them, listen, I'd love to send you my book. Unfortunately, I don't have the time physically to answer all your questions, but I've written the book on it.
Right.
Give me your name, address, email, and phone number, and I will send you a book. And guess what you've just done?
Yeah, exactly.
You've generated a lead.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. And with the credibility of the book, you being the author and you're sending it to them. Yeah, that I can see where that would be more meaningful than a free lead magnet for sure.
Yeah. Now here's the funny thing. You now have a reason to call that person.
Exactly. Yes.
So, I mean, that's something that stops us all the time. We don't want to make that cold call.
Mm-hmm.
But if you've sent them a book in the mail, you can now call them. So let's say I sent Tracy a book and it's been, 7 to 10 days. And of course, I made sure she gave me her phone number because at least here in Canada, I've got to put a phone number to ship it anywhere, right?
Okay.
And I would call Tracy and say, hey, Tracy, it's Kim Thompson-Pinder. Remember we met on Facebook and I told you I would send you my copy of my Author to Authority book. Mm-hmm. Hey, just wondering, did you get it?
Yeah.
Right. So that gives you a reason to call. Now, once she confirms whether she got it or not, then you can continue on with the conversation. Now, if she's got the book, it makes it easier to continue the conversation. If she hasn't gotten the book yet, then you better go do the tracking and find out where that book is.
Right.
But, one of the things that's really effective is when you do this in person. Mm-hmm. And it works online, But if you're at a networking meeting and you carry your book with you, so when I go to live events, I carry my book with me.
Uh-huh.
Now this is a nice new copy of the book. I carry a very rattied up, well-worn copy of the book. And I'll just pull it out in the middle of conversations and I just hand it to them. So I'll just say to them, well, did you know I wrote the book on it? And I hand them the book and they're looking at it and they're flipping through and they're reading the table of contents and they're just gazing through. And I just let them read.
Yeah.
For as long as they want to. Right. And then if they look really interested, if they're smiling, if they seem really engaged, as I'm taking it back from them, because I don't want them to keep the one copy. Right. I just say to them, I said, unfortunately, I only brought my one copy. This was the first copy off of the first box, the top. This is my personal one. I said, but if you give me your name, address, phone number, email address, that kind of stuff, casual, that kind of stuff, right? I'll gladly send you a book in the mail.
Nice.
Right. But once they get the book, then you can start having the conversation with them because you can say to them, oh, did you read it yet?
Right.
Right.
What's your favorite part?
Yeah. What interests you in getting the book in the first place?
Yeah.
Because usually that's a problem that they need solved.
Mm-hmm.
So when you ask the right questions, it leads to a strong conversation.
Yes. Yep. I could totally see that. It could definitely lead to converting that lead into a buyer yeah, for sure. So tell us, I know a lot of people are wondering this, so I'm just going to go ahead and ask it. Let's talk about the money. Mm-hmm. How much does it cost in terms of money to get a book published? What's the ballpark on it? And then this may not be something you can even answer because it may just depend on the person. How much does it cost in terms of time to really bring something to publication?
So the money question is difficult because it depends on how much you can do yourself.
Okay.
Now, you can write the book, and believe it or not, you can format your book and publish it on Amazon using Word, Microsoft Word. So you do not need fancy, you just need to know what you're doing. Okay. Nice. There is a lot that you can do yourself, but if you are going to do this, there's 3 areas that I highly recommend you pay for. The first is editing.
Okay.
Because an editor will elevate your writing. They will clean up a lot of stuff. And if you pay for, what I call sort of a developmental edit, so they're not just doing the grammar, they're actually looking at the structure, the readability, the flow of the book. They're going to give you really good feedback on the book from an editor's point of view.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, you're going to want to get feedback from other people, and that you can usually get for free. But you definitely want to hire a good editor. Pay for good editing.
Okay.
Because you want this book to be effectual. And if the flow's not good, the logic's not good, the readability's not good, people are, first of all, not going to see you as an expert. And secondly, they're going to put the book down and never take action on it.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. The second area is pay for a cover designer.
That was a question I had on our list, was cover design. Okay. So I like that. So an editor is worth the money spent and a cover design is worth the money spent. Okay.
Because the thing is, people do judge a book by its cover.
We do. So I have a client that is writing a book and she's going back and forth with these people about the cover. And I don't think they're listening to her and her designs, and they're coming back with some more masculine feeling things than what she's really wanting. And I was in Barnes and Noble the other day in the business section, and she's writing a business book. And I'm like, all these covers kind of, you know what I mean? Like that's what's going to make it pop off the shelf.
Yeah.
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 Cool. Okay.
And the thing is too, like you got to understand your target market. So one of the discussions I have with my clients, because usually when we do their covers, we usually give them 3 to 4 different covers to choose from.
Nice.
And I tell them this. Now, ultimately, it's their choice, so whatever they choose, we go with. But I'll tell them this: go out onto Facebook, LinkedIn, all the places where your target market is. Put it out there and get people to vote on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the one that your market likes is the one you go with.
Yep.
And they're like, but I like this one and the market says, and I'm like, and my thing is that if you're writing this book to convert people from customers into clients, give them the cover they want.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you
That's a
see,
good point.
people get emotionally tied
Mhm.
to the cover that they like.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing with publishing a book is there is an emotional aspect to it. It's like having this baby. It's like, this this baby's got to be perfect,
Yeah.
right?
No, it's a lot of
There's
stress.
no such thing as perfect.
Yeah. It's a lot of stress. So in terms of the cost, like, is there
Mhm.
a minimum? Like, if I said to
I
you,
usually tell people, I mean, there are some places, like there are some things you can get done on Fiverr.
yeah,
And there are actually some really good cover designers on Fiverr. So that's really hard. But if you set aside 3 to 5,000,
okay,
you could probably get it done under that. But if you want really good quality,
right,
okay, the 3 to 5,000 will get you your editing,
hmm,
a really half decent editor. You should be able to get your covers designed, and you might even get your book formatted. Now,
right,
formatting is the third one, but again, you can learn how to do it yourself. I'll
okay.
just tell you that it is hours and hours of eye straining work, and you're going to want to pick up that computer and throw it through the window.
Okay.
Ask me how I know.
I can imagine. That's funny.
Okay, so it's not that you can't do it, but it is a skill set,
Yeah,
and you're going to have to be very patient.
got it. Got it.
Because with formatting, you change one thing and it can change the entire formatting of the whole book, and you have to then go through line by line through the whole book to make sure everything's correct.
Yeah, I
So
can see where I would not want to do that myself. Just the description of what you're saying. Oh, I know.
yeah.
I'm out. No, I'm gonna
And,
pay.
and I mean, I don't really want to discourage people, but I don't want to paint an unrealistic picture either.
Yeah, I
Okay,
appreciate
so it is something you can do. The question is, do you
that.
want to?
Right, right, right. Yep. And then
So
in
those are
terms
the
of
three things.
like the length, do you recommend that we're looking at a certain number of chapters, a certain length of pages, a certain, spine size? Like what would be a minimum that you would say if you're going to try to do this and you want to make it effective? First of all, you need to set aside probably $3,000 to $5,000, and then you need to be prepared to do this much content.
Probably 100 to 150 Word doc pages,
Okay,
which will convert down to 150 to 200 pages in a 6x9 book.
got it. Okay, okay, cool. That's
Over
a good idea.
now, let me qualify that a little bit. If
Hmm.
your target market is generally only has high school or less,
Hmm.
you want to keep the book more to 100 pages.
Okay,
If your audience is more educated, you could go to 2 to 250,
okay, got
like
it,
in total once the book's formatted.
got it. And then one final question that I have, and then we'll go and check the chat to see if there's other questions. But okay, so we're thinking we want to do this. I know that I need to set aside $3,000 to $5,000. I know, first of all, I don't want to do the formatting myself, and I need to prepare for 100, maybe to 200 pages ish. So what would you say to a client who's all in and excited, and then they contact you and they go, Kim, I'm sitting in front of my laptop, my brain is shut off, and I can't get one word out of me onto this. How do you help your clients get started?
So first of all, it's going back to the foundations.
Okay.
You're going to want to write out those things. You're going to write out, who do you serve? How do you serve them? Who are you? Write all of those things out. And then
Mhm.
you're going to look at that. And, when we're creating outlines, and I do recommend you create an outline, it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be, it doesn't have to be down to the nth degree. The outlines we do at RTI Publishing, we figure out the chapter name, we figure out the main theme, and we'll put 6 to 8 bullet points of things we want to make sure are discussed, because we work with a lot of thought leaders, so I don't want to put them in a box. Like when I interview them, I want to be able to pull out the really good stuff, so we don't alter structure our outlines. But there's a couple things you want to think of. What stories do you want to tell? Not every story goes into your book, and your full life story doesn't go into the book either, unless you're writing a book about your life story.
Right.
And even then, not every story goes in the story about your life story.
Right.
Right. So creating that outline,
Okay.
really understanding your client's problems and how you solve them. Most of the outline is going to be that, you've got a preface. Your preface is your hook. I recommend that, your hook, there's different ways to do a preface, but here's the way I like to do it, because then it gets the person really interested in reading the rest of the book, is you tell a pivotal story from your life, that a pivotal moment that your target market is really going to relate to.
Okay.
Something that they're experiencing. So you've already gone through this, you've experienced this, and now the preface, which is 2 to 3 pages, is just talking about that pivotal moment, and you leave it kind of in a cliffhanger.
Okay. Nice.
Okay. Your introduction, you're introducing the main themes, who should read this book, that kind of stuff. 8 to 10 chapters of the problems they face and how you would solve the problem. And then a concluding chapter. Again, you're summarizing the main themes of the book. Sometimes there's things that you want to put in the book that just didn't fit in any chapter. Last chapter is a great place to put that. You want to give action steps and end with a good, strong call to action.
Okay. Love it. I love.
So that's a summary of my outline course. You just got there.
Nice. I love it. Okay. And my friends, I want to make one final point, and you all know this is probably not going to shock you. I'm all about list building, and I'm all about ways to grow our email list without paid ads and without creating more free lead magnets like Kim and I are talking about. A book is a great way, just like she's told us, to solidify you as an authority, give you credibility, a huge amount of visibility. And when people see your book, they love your book, and they're going to get curious about you, then they're going to start checking you out on social media. And that is where the strategies that I teach you kick in here. So what Kim is teaching you as on how to become an author and why a book is important completely coincides with what I teach as well. We take that book and we make sure that you're maxed out on social media. And then something as simple, and I talk about this all the time, as having your social media profile lead to your email list growth. This gives your book loving ideal clients a place to connect with you if they're not already on your email list. And like Kim and I are talking about, nurturing them into buyers. So Kim, before I double check the questions again, I want you to tell everybody what is the best way to find you and connect with you if they've got more questions about being an author, or if they already know, hey, I want to do this, and they're loving what you've said today.
So the 2 main places is the Author to Authority podcast. So not only do we talk about, creating that book, we talk about how do you use that book, how do you become that authority, how do you use, how do you position yourself as that authority in your niche? So it's the Author to Authority podcast. So no, it's not necessarily all about authorship, but it's about the authority and how you use authorship to become that authority. So the Author to Authority podcast.com. You can also find it on every major podcast app. The second and best place to find me if you want to have a conversation with me is on LinkedIn. Awesome. Word Ninja Kim.
I love it.
Or just type in Kim Thompson with a P, Pinder. I am the only one.
Nice.
I am the only Kim Thompson Pinder. I am so easy to find. So Thompson with a P, Pinder with a P.
Love it. All right. So, and before I head over and double check the questions again, and again, you guys, this is the live Q&A portion. You can ask me anything about your business. You can ask Kim questions. I never proclaim I'm going to have the exact answer for everyone every time, but I'm going to do my best to help you. And here's what I know for sure. If I don't have the answer, one of the members in our Facebook group does. And remember, we've got over 1,700 entrepreneurs in that group. And if you're not in it, you're going to want to be in it. It's be a confident entrepreneur, get visible and grow your income, grow your business. Sorry, get visible and grow your income. Oh my goodness. Maybe I need some more coffee. All right, let me go check. I did not see any questions pop up live today, but let me just double check. I know Lisa had a question about, do you have to sign into StreamYard each time to the StreamYard.com/Facebook? to give permission. No, Lisa, you don't. You do it one time. And then if you're on somebody else's, if you're going to somebody else's live that's using StreamYard, you're good to go. You just have to do it the one time. All right. And I don't see any questions live for you, Kim, but I know I had a lot of people reach out to me that said they could not make it live, but they're going to watch the replay. And I've told them all that if they have questions, I know how to get in touch with you. And you've just shared with us how to get in touch with you. So don't be surprised if people start reaching out and saying, hey, I couldn't make it live. I had a question. All right. So I want to thank you, Kim, for being here with us today. And I want to thank all of you for being here and listening to us. I hope this has helped you open your mind to what is possible with regard to building your business. There are so many different ways that we can build a business. And a book is one of many ways, but it's such a great way to get credibility, establish yourself as an authority, be able to say you're a published author, which is kind of a big deal. But we want to know what you want to hear more about. So send me a DM if you have a topic that's on your mind and you want to know about it. If I can't train you on it, I'm going to find you a guest expert that can. And I want you to be here live with me every Thursday at 11:30 Central. So put that on your Google Calendar, set your phone alarm. And remember, I say this all the time, don't go it alone. Being an entrepreneur is freaking hard. In fact, one of my clients and I this morning were voxering back and forth because I'm going into launch for Business Visibility Made Easy next week. And she's doing a launch right now as well. And we're both talking about what a flipping roller coaster this is, this entrepreneurial ride. Because some days everything feels like it's going amazing. And other days you're feeling like, are the wheels coming off the bus? But here's the thing. I don't want you to feel alone because it's
worse than that.
Kim says it's worse than that.
It's worse than that because you feel like the wheels have already come off. The bus has come to the screeching stop. And even if you could get the wheels back on, there's this huge wall in front of you that you can't get through. Like some days it's just like, could it get any worse?
I have this visual of this bus just skidding, sparks flying into this, trying to stop. Yeah, God, that's so funny, Kim. All right, my friends. Oh, and also don't forget about the live master classes that I'm doing for you guys. There's 4 dates and times to choose from. They start next week on April 13th. Go to tracybeavers.com/masterclass. I'm going to teach you 4 simple strategies that you can use that same day to grow your email list. And I'm also going to talk to you about the Business Visibility Made Easy program. And even if you don't join the program, which I hope you do because you should, you're going to come away with stuff that you can actually implement that day. I don't do fluff. I'm not going to give you a lot of fluff. When I attend a master class, I want to learn something. So that's why my master classes are so popular, because you're actually going to learn. I think I just got an amen out of Kim. Oh my goodness. Okay, everybody, have a great balance of the week and weekend. And remember, when one of us rises, we all rise. So we have got to keep cheering for each other. Thank you, Kim. I'm gonna end it here. Thanks, my friends.
Happy Easter.